Good evening, friends. This reading is from Rays of the One Light, written by Swami Kriyananda. The topic of this week's reading is the importance of soul receptivity. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. Chapter 1 of the Gospel of St. John states, "But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name." This was a passage Paramhansa Yogananda often quoted to his disciples. Be in tune, he would tell them. Delusion can't touch you if you will keep in tune. A few of you will fall, he said once, but it needn't be if you would stay in tune. Of a disciple who became highly advanced, even though she didn't meditate much, he said, she got there by attunement. To one who found meditation difficult, he said, I will meditate for you as long as you stay in tune. Truth is a state of consciousness, not a well-worded definition. It is in that consciousness, above all, that our lives are transformed. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita says in the 10th chapter, to those who are ever attached to me and who worship me with love, I impart discernment, by means of which they attain me. Out of my love for them, I, the divine within them, set a light in them, the radiant lamp of wisdom, thereby dispelling the darkness of their ignorance. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Good evening, everyone. A very beautiful theme today about attunement with the divine, which is completely essential to get to the state of realization and emancipation. There's a beautiful story which I would love to share with you all, which is a little bit about attunement, seeing divine in all, and living utmostly for the divine. There was in India a very beautiful, dharmic, righteous king. All his people loved him very much. And he decided, as he did several times, as he was a very great devotee of Lord Vishnu, to go to the forest for 40 days, to practice austerities, to meditate, and to fast for 40 days. So on the auspicious day, he went to the forest and with a prayer to the Lord, offering him all his undertakings, he began his fasting, he began his meditation and austerities. While he was dedicating his complete time to the Lord, up in Vaikuntha, in heaven, Lord Shiva, Brahma, and Lord Yama wanted to go and visit Lord Vishnu with a certain question. So they went up to heaven to Lord Vishnu and asked him, My Lord, we have a question. There are so many beautiful souls on the earth, so many devotees you have. Tell us, who is your dearest devotee? Who is closest to you? Closest means attuned. And so Lord Vishnu said, oh yes, there is that king who is right now in the forest meditating and fasting. He is indeed my dearest devotee. Shiva and the others said, but there are so many saints meditate and practice austerities for much longer than him. What makes him so special compared to all the other ones? And Lord Vishnu said, go and check out and you will understand. And so, of course, Shiva and Brahma and Yama, they can be quite pranksters in a certain way. So they went down to earth and were planning something. So the first one, they said, okay, now we go and we tempt him. Let's see what he will do. So on the 40th day of his austerities, there was an exact auspicious time where the king had to finish his fast with a prayer and then eating his food. There were certain rules connected with that. And so the first one, they said, who will go first? Lord Brahma, of course, who is the creator. He went first. And so at exactly the moment that the king was praying and offering everything to the Lord, Brahma came in disguise as a young brahmachari, all hungry and thin. He came and said, "Oh, my Lord, I'm so hungry. Can you give me something?" And the king looked at him very quietly and said, "Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity. What blessing it is to share with my Lord through you this food, this meal." And so he offered him half of his meal, of his food. And so Brahma took and went. He said, this didn't work out very well. So he passed the first one. Then he said, the Shiva said, "But wait, he still has half of the plate and half of the food. And so surely that he wants to eat. Now I will disguise as a very poor farmer with my poor hungry dogs, very thin, and let's see what he will do." And so as he was just about to eat his first food, the prasad, Shiva came with his 2 dogs and said, "Oh, please, my Lord, my poor little creatures, they are starving, they're starving. Can you please give us something? And the king said, "Oh, yes, of course. You have everything I have. I give you all that I have. You can share it between you and your dogs." So he gave all the food he had to Shiva. All he had left was a cup of water. And so Shiva went back. He said, that didn't work either. So he really is quite a great devotee. And then Yama said, "Wait and see. Now I will go." And he transformed himself in a very ugly, dirty-looking man. And he came, and just at the moment that the king wanted to drink, he came to him and said, "Oh, I'm so thirsty. Please, can you give me something?" And the king said, "Oh, yes, of course. Here you can have the cup." And he said, "But wait. I have to be honest with you. I'm an outcast." So normally a king, a kshatriya, cannot touch an outcast. The king looked at him compassionately and lovingly. He said, "What does that matter? Isn't in you my beloved Lord as he is in every creature?" He went to him, he hugged him, and gave him his cup of water. In that very moment, Lord Vishnu came down from heaven, touched him at the heart, and he got final realization. Why you think happened that? Because he meditated? Because he practiced austerities? Or because he saw the Lord in everything? No rules, no traditions could stop him in front even of an outcast, to give him everything with love. And that's what is required, yes, to live a dharmic life, to be in attunement. It's very important to be aware, to be conscious, to be honest, and to live a dharmic life according to our best, to practice techniques which are given to us, which we receive, to be sincere with them, offering always with gratitude to the Guru and to God. But above all, more than anything, is the love for God. And when there is love, true love, which is very seldom found, then there is attunement. Because God, you can practice for 3,000 years meditation if you want to. God will not come. You can practice the greatest austerities, follow all the rules of the scriptures, reading every day the scriptures. God will not reveal him to you. But when you truly love him, also saying, yes, I have still weaknesses in me. I'm not yet perfect, but I love you. And I give everything I am, everything I have to you. And if we live in that way, then God surely will come. There's only one magnet which can draw the Lord, which can draw the divine to us, and that is true love, unconditional love. That is the greatest tool we have for attunement. I want to share you also a little story about Swamiji. I spent several years in Italy. I had the blessing to be with Swamiji for many, many years, and also be quite close. Often I could come to his house in Italy with all the others. So it was very special. Swamiji is known for many books he has written, for many undertakings, communities he has founded, and music he has written. But for me, the greatest what he has taught me was his attunement to Master, his incredible love. He was a disciple. He never wanted to be a guru, nothing. But he wanted only to be a disciple. And I remember often he said, when at the end, Master simply smiles at me and said, I am pleased with you. That's all I'm asking for. And he lived like that. And there one time, I remember it, he was traveling, he came there, he wasn't yet in India, he didn't come yet to India, that was yet to come. And he came back from America and got in the winter time, and Italy, Assisi, is a little bit cold. You cannot imagine. Snow, -degrees. It's really chilly. And Swamiji came back and he got a double pneumonia. He got really sick. And he started to cough blood. So the doctor came, we were with him, Kirtani, Shivani, several of us were with him. And the doctor came and said, you have to go immediately in the hospital in that condition, also with your heart condition and everything he had. Swamiji said, no, I stay here. It will be fine. And so that was 1 week before Master's birthday. And so Kirtani, the spiritual leader of Ananda, was asking him, Swamiji, you are on, because that Master's birthday fell on a Sunday. So everybody in Europe knew that Swamiji would give the Sunday service for Master, talking about Master. And so Kirtani said, Swamiji, you are so sick. Do you want one of us to do the Sunday service? Should I do prepare for the Sunday service? And Swamiji looked at her. What do you mean? People are waiting to hear about Master. Of course I will go. I will go and give the satsang. And she said, but that, and also the doctor said, that's impossible. That can cost you your life. Because with a double pneumonia, cold, 5th of January, it's really cold and snowy in Italy. And Swamiji said, no way. And he came. We all were a little bit concerned, sincerely. So Anand went to take him from his house, brought him to the temple, brought him as close as possible. Swamiji came in with the double pneumonia, coughing. He stood up, and I had the blessing and grace that day that I could translate Swamiji simultaneously into a different language. And it was the most powerful talk I ever heard. There he was, incredibly sick, where no other person would ever get up and risk his life. Swamiji was talking with tears in his eyes, with so much power, with so much love about Master. That is a devotee. When that is that love, He was thinking of all the others. He was only thinking of sharing his master. That was all what he had in his mind. Not, oh, no, I have to protect my body. I can risk my life. No, he never had that thought. So that is one of the greatest, one can say, heredity what Swamiji, in my eyes, has given. The greatest example of being a disciple, what it meant to be a disciple. And that means attunement. And I remember still when Swamiji left his body, he went through a lot already in Italy, being with him physically. He went through so much, but he didn't care. Nothing could stop him to share Master, to share the teachings of Master, and to share the love of Master. And also when he left his body, I very well remember that day, several of you were there too, Aditya were there, and many from America came. He left his body in Italy. He loved to be in Italy, the place of St. Francis. And I remember the day where we dedicated for his ascension ceremony. That was a Wednesday. There was incredible joy. It was impossible to be sad that he had left his body because there was simply too much joy. It was not possible to be sad. And I remember that incredible light, that love, that joy which was in the temple at that moment. And also neighbors, there are farmers living close by to the Ananda community in Italy. And the neighbors was then asking a few, like Naria, one of our main members in Italy, to say, what did you do up there on the mountain? There was so much light coming out there from the forest. What was that? That was the light when Master took Swamiji back. And many of us could feel it was really like that Swamiji was going, his spirit finally is leaving, and Master and all our masters waiting for him. And the key to his liberation, he surely got liberated. It was not how much he did, all what he did, because everything he did only for his guru. And that was the only reason what he did. But the key to his liberation was his attunement, constant attunement, with many difficulties he went through, with many tests. But he never, never wavered in his love and dedication to Master. And that should be an example for us, whatever path we follow, to be 150% dedicated and attuned. And I would like to finish with words directly by Master, which he wrote to devotees in 51. No matter where you are, nor under what conditions God has placed you, you must not resent it, for there will come still more. Find peace in doing things for God. Don't spare yourself. Conquer the flesh, and you will see him in front of you. The more you cater to the flesh, the more you grumble, the worse you will be. Other temptation will invade you. That is why working hard for him and meditating is the best way. Work with the thought of God in your consciousness every day, inwardly thinking, my Lord, my Lord. If you are in tune with him, you will see he is guiding you in every little thing as well as in the biggest things. As soon as you complain and indulge in moods and don't like what God gives you, he will give you a worse scolding. When you do everything for God, gladly and joyously, then it is different. Go to God, and all problems of incarnations which lie buried within you will be cleared away in one stroke. There are many chambers in your life, and all those desires of incarnations are laid up in them, waiting to attract you to material things. Go back to God, and you will be able to satisfy them all. Otherwise, you will be tossed about until you will be so fed up, you will say, Lord, please let me out. When you grow spiritually, temptations come to you. You don't see them, but when you say, God, you are more tempting than temptation, nothing can ever bother you. And with these words, I would like to finish. So, see this life as a great blessing, dedicating every moment, every breath to the divine. Also, if you sometimes get grumpy, give it to Master, give it to God. He loves to take it. He always said he knows he loves to attract stubborn ones. Give it simply to him. Then sincerity of love. Also, if you are not perfect in many things, but if you perfect your love for God and for the gurus, then you are safe and then you will be free. Om. Jai Guru.